Sidebar is the official podcast of the Napa County District Attorney's Office. Hello, everyone. This is Carlos Villatoro, the Public Information Officer for the Napa County District Attorney's Office, and this is the Sidebar Podcast. It's been quite a while since we did a podcast, but I am glad that we are doing one now because we have two special guests in our law library today, and today we are joined by Bailey, community activist, and Carol Witcher. She's also a longtime community activist here in Napa County. And today we are talking about issues surrounding the LGBTQ community here in Napa. It's last month, I don't know if you guys know this or not, was LGBTQ Awareness Month.
Pride Month.
Pride Month.
Yeah.
Yes, Pride
Historically, Month. It's in June.
Yeah, and so we had planned to do this podcast last month, but schedules being as they are, we weren't able to come together to do it. But now I'm glad that we were finally able to nail it down. So so thank you guys.
You're very welcome
for coming on here and talking to us. Here on the Sidebar Podcast, we like to first start out by having you guys kind of introduce yourselves and tell us who you are and how long have you been in the community and so let's go ahead and start with Bailey.
Thank you. My name is Bailey. I use they and she pronouns. I am the current chair of the Queer Leaders Coalition. I've also been really involved in the effort to bring Napa Pride to the community. I've been in Napa for 18 years and I've worked in many different sectors. I'm always evolving as a human being, professionally and personally. Mm-hmm. And that's just who I am. I'm really passionate about our community. I'm really passionate about our local LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. And we've done a lot of really great work over the years, and I'm happy to really talk about that.
Absolutely, and that's why we have you here to talk about that. And Carol.
Always nice to be here, Carlos. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And Bailey, thanks so much for the invite. This is fun. The Queer Leaders Coalition is such a necessary component of daily life at Napa. I just wanted to say that up front.
Thank you.
My background is such that I have been here since 1974. I moved to Napa as a young woman, and my professional career was that of a union president. I was a president of the Communication Workers of America. I represented workers in many sectors, but primarily the telecommunications sector, AT&T, Verizon, mm-hmm. and such. And I was a founding member in Napa of the Unity League, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. which was started in 2002, I think, with our beloved Pierce Carson. Pierce was...
I knew Pierce.
Wasn't he amazing?
Great colleague of mine. Oh. Such a gentle soul, yes. Always very supportive.
And just happy.
He was
and
kind.
Smart and kind.
Yes.
Yes, we really miss Pierce. And we used to have monthly events and... Politically, queers have always been in the forefront of my work, of my social activism work, because hate crimes happen every single day in this country through our legislators, which is very upsetting. I mean, you're starting a very steep uphill climb when your legislators are trying to set laws about your life. Mm-hmm. And being a woman, too, that just doubles the effect of that because the law is not our friend, and it's who we tend to want to count on to come to our aid. But so anyway, in that sense, hate crimes are just an abomination in this country. Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, Carol was one of the first people, the first people in Napa County to have received a marriage license.
That's right.
Yeah, you were.
That's
I
right.
did. Yes, that's right. I was the first.
With her wife, Deb.
I was the
Deb
first.
Stallings.
That's
and I remember Deb from back in the day, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. John promised us, because every year we would come down here to this office on Valentine's Day with a whole crowd of queers and candy and balloons, and we would seek a marriage license. And John would come out and in his very happy-go-lucky way would say,
Yeah.
I promise you guys, I promise you will be the first when it's legal. And he did.
And true to life. It
He
came
was good
true.
on his promise. That's right.
How long ago was that?
Well, when did the law get signed?
16?
No, the first one.
Oh.
Because then they took it away, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
2008.
2008, yeah, it was 2008.
2008, we got our marriage license. Then the law took it away
Yeah.
from us. And, or was it 2003? Anyway, I can't remember.
So in the history of the world, that doesn't seem like, that's like a second. It didn't happen.
It was yesterday.
It was just like yesterday.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are issues that are continuing.
Yeah.
And
Can I just point something out about
Yeah.
today? Today is July 17th. Today is the day that actually our federal government is removing option 3 for LGBTQ people to get support through the National Suicide Crisis Line. I'm married, and there are initiatives, and I mean, there's been over 500 anti-LGBTQ pieces of legislation introduced that are threatening our rights, and marriage is on the table for us to be something that's removed.
And we're going to get into that. We're not going to give away the whole show just yet. But I want to talk now about the Queer Leader Coalition.
The Queer Leaders Coalition.
Yes, tell me how that came to be.
So the Queer Leaders Coalition was born in 2003, and it was really born out of frustration and love. And it was something that was a vision that I had based off of what I had learned being in community with and partying and celebrating with the Unity League. But then when the pandemic happened, we weren't able to really organize and come together, and the Unity League had kind of, I'd say you disbanded, right?
Oh,
it was kind of like,
without a doubt.
initiatives have their momentum, they have their time, and things had kind of settled down. Also, LGBTQ Connection was working really closely with the Unity League to bring events and socials and things to the community, and those things slowly stopped. And then we hit a pandemic where we couldn't really organize, we couldn't really be together.
Yeah.
And so I started Queer Leaders Coalition as just an Instagram page of like a way to bring issues to the community, to get people interested. And then when we came out of the pandemic, it was an opportunity to do some real concrete organizing. And so we're not a nonprofit. We're totally grassroots. We're beholden to the people that are in the coalition. We answer to the people in our community. It's incredibly grassroots. And for the past 2 years, we've been I like to say promoting LGBTQ empowerment realness. And so by that is giving LGBTQ people in Napa an opportunity to be involved in their own community and creating a container for folks to do activism, volunteerism, organizing. And from that, it kind of grew into all of us wanting to be a part of kind of bringing Napa Pride to the table. And so DJ Rotten Rob Dowdy, hey Rob, he's carried it he's been doing Pride in Napa for over 20 years, and he's been doing it, a lot of that like with help with the Unity League, but he's doing a lot of that by himself. And so he and I got together and it was like, how can we strengthen Napa Pride with some real grassroots volunteerism from the community? And that's where we started to organize. And 2 years ago we did Napa Pride, and it was amazing. And then this year we actually went after some money from the Tourism Improvement District, and we acquired $15,000 to do Napa Pride 2025. Our theme was Celebrate in Solidarity, and it was probably the biggest and whitest and best Pride that we've ever had in Napa. And the way that we structured that was every event, so we had 4 key events, and we organized people that wanted to do a specific event, and then we had someone appointed like the leader, and then we had volunteers. And so it was all folks that just bought into wanting to create events and create community for LGBTQ people and for allies. The Queer Leaders Coalition is also for allies. And really it's a space for people to realize what they have within them to become a leader in their own community.
Now tell me, how do you strike a balance between, being out there and celebrating Pride and, doing a lot of things in the community? How do you balance that with the need to kind of be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, these are interesting times that we are living in.
Yeah.
And the youth and people of color may feel, you know, especially vulnerable right now. How do you balance that?
It's that's actually a real personal question. I think, you know, for you as well, being a member of the community, but that's a tension that we all hold every single day. What does it mean to be out and proud and visible while we can also be harmed and hurt, and kind of to speak to the hate crimes and things that Carol was talking about.
Yeah.
For some of us, like myself, I'm in a white body. I've been in this community for a long time. I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of trust. And that allows me to navigate a lot of different spaces and be an out and loud and proud person in the way that others might not be able to. And also in me doing that, it's creating, I guess, people that are able to kind of come together in that space. So us being loud and proud, and kind of I don't want to say taking the burden, but it's like we can be those that are out there and loud, and hopefully creating and educating the community to create more safer spaces and encourage that, so that when folks feel like they want to come out, they can in a community that sees them and that is really pushing for like belonging and culture change,
because they see support in that, in
exactly
you and
yeah
your colleagues.
Yeah and
As
it's
well
a
as
privilege,
and the community.
But I mean, it's a privilege that I hold, that I'm very proud of. And also it's something that I feel that we all have the capacity as people to do. But you're right, we live in a time where people's intersectional identities, someone who is LGBTQ, someone who is also Black or an immigrant or undocumented, all of those things, every person is going to have a different unique experience based on, you know, how they are viewed in the world or how they are able to navigate. And unfortunately, we live in a society where people that are Black, people that are immigrants right now in this point in time in history, are experiencing way more crime, way more harm, and, you know, than the rest of the population. And so, you know, we're trying to elevate those issues, bring awareness to the need for more intersectionality in our communities, more need to understand that there are some of us that are really privileged that can navigate the landscape really easily, and that there are those that can't. And for our Black, transgender, or people of color, queer, trans, Black, Indigenous people, cutie BIPOC is what we say. How we can really be in solidarity with those folks. How can we really learn from these communities and create, you know, the conditions for belonging and the conditions for the greater community to kind of change. And as people that know me, they know that culture change is something that I'm really, that's kind of my jam, you know, creating the conditions for us to not have violence, creating the conditions where someone that experiences hate crime, it's not something that's brushed under the rug, but it's something that actually our folks are going to be like, wait, no, that is actually not cool. And we don't want those things in our community.
How have things evolved, Carol, from back when you were running around in the community, and then you still are to an extent, but things have changed since then?
Things have changed drastically. They really have. When I was a young woman, I'm still not that old.
No, you're not.
You're not. I know. No, it's weird. I was like,
but, you know, 50 years ago, when I was a young woman, I had no fear. I had no fear because of my privilege. I wasn't interested in people who didn't like me because I was a lesbian. I wasn't interested in them. I didn't give them a minute of my time, a minute of my breath. They didn't matter to me. What mattered to me, of course, at the time was, you know, working conditions and of course, the lives of our queer community. But I never had that fear that exists today. And which is why I'm so incredibly proud to have Bailey as a friend and a mentor. She is a mentor to me as much as I am a mentor to her, because she lives the lives that I don't understand. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't understand what you just said, BIPOC, BQ, whatever. I don't understand that, right? And I I know that I know that it exists, and I know that there are people, especially our youth, are in big trouble today trying to get along in this world. And it's not because of people like me who don't understand. It's not that. It is because there is no help for these people. There is no inclusion for these people because of their differences. I mean, this woman here is amazing.
Yeah.
I like that you're calling me a woman, because that's not how I identify anymore.
I know, but you know what? Here I am.
We're all learning today.
There's a primary example of what Carol doesn't know.
So
No, I know it's really. Can I piggyback off of that? It was really cute when we were walking in. So I'm in the process of evolving. We're always evolving as human beings, and I'm at a beginning point. And you were talking about I'm your mentor, but when I was at LGBTQ Connection, all the young the young leaders that I got to work with, that are staff or that were there, they challenged me so hard in the best way and checked me on my whiteness, on my privilege, on the terms and definitions, and in relationship with these, and really sitting down with a lot of really like young trans kids. I was able to come to terms with some stuff that I had been struggling with for years, and I've since done a lot of work, and now I've cashed in my privilege card of woman, even the lesbian card too, and I now know myself and understand myself to be a non-binary individual who doesn't the whole. I mean, we can get into Soji and whatnot. I think that, I don't know if we have enough time to go through all those things, but like as far as the gender binary goes, I was assigned female at birth, but I know myself to not fall in line with what it means to be a woman in our society. And that's something that I struggled with I don't even say struggle, something that I dealt with, or there was a tension within me like my whole life, but I wasn't able to come to that realization until I had the opportunity to be around amazing young LGBTQ kids.
Now, tell me, this is for both of you, how has technology contributed to just the rise of everything we've seen, everything from bullying to hate crimes to, I mean, it used to be where in my day and age, I would get bullied at school, I'd go home and it'd be done. I didn't have to get bullied continuously. But now when you go home, you open up, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and you were bullied there too. So there's constant 24-hour news cycles and social media. How has that contributed to challenges that our LGBTQ community here?
I can give you an example of a youth that I worked with when I first started at LGBTQ Connection, and they came to me and said, during the pandemic, being online was a necessity. It was a lifeline. I was able to get connected. Now that person was, years later, and when, there was, let's just be real here, there were $95 million in anti-LGBTQ, mostly anti-trans propaganda through the last election. And so a lot of people in our society have some really negative views about transgender people just based on the things that they've learned on the internet. And so this youth was coming to me weekly, basically crying, like, this lifeline that I had has now become a place where I feel like everybody wants me dead. That's a reality.
A lot of toxicity.
A lot of toxicity. And there's been now deregulation of Meta and different platforms have actually removed protections for LGBTQ people, for trans people, like hate speech and stuff like that. There's it's free reign right now. There's no regulations on a lot of these things. No one's really monitoring it. So you're seeing more. I've had people slide into my DMs recently because I'm a writer and I write poems, and sometimes they're really spicy. I've had someone come into my DMs and tell me to shut my mouth,
Really?
Yeah. I figured out who it was, and because I keep my stuff on lockdown,
just being rude and unkind.
Exactly, yeah. And even though I have a private account where I have to allow people into my space, but with what I've seen is there's a media literacy problem that we have with teaching young folks how to use the internet in a way that is safe and that's not going to harm them, and also you know, if you're a creator, so, you know, or, you know, you're in the world, like, you know, like the psychology of marketing and of propaganda. And we're in an era where there's a lot of that out there, and kids are seeing it all the time. Like, I have a hard time being on social media right now. And that's probably because some of the things I'm choosing to follow. But you know, there's an algorithm. And if you get stuck in an algorithm, I mean, right now it's like I'm opening things up. And the first thing that I opened up this morning was a report of a Black trans woman that was assaulted in a parking lot. And this person was like, we need to get this person help.
It's absolutely, I connect with everything that you're saying. I mean, sometimes I'll be having conversations with people, and next thing you know, what pops up on my feed? The trip to Hawaii I wanted to plan, or whatever it is. Yeah. It's just always listening.
Yeah. And can I talk about the plus side too? On the plus side, though, these platforms and social media and organizations putting themselves out there have also been able to attract folks that need support. And so for a lot of communities, it's the internet that allows us to organize. It's allowing us to come together. Like when I left a sector of work in this community, and I got connected to a bunch of people across the state who have been in similar situations that I was in, and I was able to get support and find community across state lines through the internet, through social media. I have friends all over now that I wouldn't have made had that not been around. Absolutely. But you have to be careful. And like I sometimes think of myself as an adult that can think critically about things, but even I get really spun out, and it drives my wife absolutely crazy. Yeah. Sorry, Cara May. Really sorry about that.
Sometimes you just have to log off. Now, the first time I met you, and I'm sorry, did you?
No. Yeah. No. Well, so social media, the media in general, is a conundrum. It's just a complete conundrum, and I don't have the answer, but I will say that a lot of the good part about social media for people like me is that it is an education platform also. So that, you know, that part is really important. And like, you know, Bailey said, you know, you can figure out a way to navigate through the ludicrousy of social media. We can figure that out.
To the toxicity sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. So,
but like you said, it's not all toxic, and there are resources out there.
Correct.
Yeah. But the toxicity is harming. I mean, to your example of the kid that is bullied at school and then goes home, and the kids are sliding in the DMs, they're saying stuff like, there have been kids in this country who have died by suicide because of the extreme conditions that they've faced in school and online.
Many.
Sadly. Very sadly.
Yeah.
Now, here in the Napa County District Attorney's Office, we've seen crimes happen within our community that involve LGBTQ issues. And, you know, the first time I met you was during one of those court cases that we handled. There was a person who vandalized the Welcome to Napa sign. And you guys were out at the hearings, talking, and
I provided a victim impact statement on behalf of the community.
So, my question is, how is the community responding to? How does the community respond when a crime like that happens?
I think there's different responses. What I spoke about in my victim impact statement was like the overall impact of what does it mean to see a visual cue of inclusion. And when I say visual cue of inclusion, I'm talking about like that was the logo of our only LGBTQ serving nonprofit in the community, which has rainbows on it. And the rainbow flag is typically a symbol of safety for our community. If we see a visual cue of inclusion, we know that in theory that the place is aware of our issues and is going to be safe and affirming for us. Yeah. And so to have a visual cue of inclusion like that spray painted repeatedly, because it was done over and over and over again until we were able to get cameras installed and actually catch the person that did it. Yeah. It sends a message to the visitors coming to this community that, wow, there's black spray paint, and we don't even know if that person was connected to the giant red swastikas that were painted over the one over on Highway 29, you know, or the person who was making the 4th of July last year. There were our flag was taken, the inclusive flag was taken, and then a swastika was embedded over it, and then those stickers were placed all over the Oxbow. So this is a town where people are visiting,
Yeah.
and to see things like that, and to see one of our symbols defaced like that, it sends a message that we're not welcome here, that we don't belong here, and it doesn't really speak to the reality that almost 10,000 LGBTQ people live in this community, and we have homes here. We have jobs here. We raise our families here. Like, we are here embedded just as equally as everybody else. But to see us targeted like that, it really sends a message that this isn't a safe community. And I think that for the community themselves, it brings up a lot of feelings. It makes some of us, like myself, want to act. And like, we need to do something.
You did.
As I did. I called every single person. It went all the way up to Bill Dodd's office of like, this is happening. What can we do? And it created an orchestrated effort with Napa Police Department and other people in our local leadership to catch the person that did it. And then we did. And I wasn't really happy with the outcome of it because he pled no contest and whatnot. I wasn't really happy about the fact that actually the hate crime charges weren't brought up. It wasn't charged as a hate crime. It was charged as vandalism. And those little nuances also hurt. I understand that as prosecutors, you need to do what you need to do to get the case. And I'm happy with that outcome. But yeah, I think that when hate crimes happen and it's deemed not a hate crime, or our law enforcement doesn't step up, or our attorneys don't prosecute, or things like that, it sends a message that like nobody cares about us, and that can lead to desperation. And it's the effect on people's mental health that I'm most concerned about.
Right. And I don't know exactly what went into that case, but I can tell you that our burden of proof is ever present, and it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to prove it in court. And
in some courts,
a lot of the time, it's people are upset that we can't bring specific charges, but it all comes down to the burden of proof.
Well, so, it should be noted, shouldn't it, that person wasn't a member of this community?
Correct. They were not.
The person that was doing the vandalizing. I mean, that made me feel good.
Yeah, they lived in a different community.
In a way, right? Yes.
But the other things happening.
Silver linings. Right
now.
Silver linings, yes. That's
as much as it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that it activates a lot of people to be more involved. And when I had a lot of people reach out to me when they learned that I was going to court and reading a victim impact statement. And I think I posted on Facebook, and it was really nice to get that reception and feedback that I was seen, I was heard. And that I will continue to show up all the time.
What do you guys see as the most pressing issues facing the community in this, both personally and politically?
I just feel like we keep taking 6 steps forward, and then we have to take 18 steps back. And that I have been doing that my entire life. I don't know if there's members of other communities that do that feel the same way, that we made such great progress in this country for so long, probably post Clinton administration. And then we had to step back, and then we stepped forward, and then we stepped back. And it's exhausting, Carlos. I will tell you right now, it is exhausting. And it's very hard to stay in the game, which is why so many of our queer community, they just bundle up together and stay home. They don't come out. I mean, not because of any fear. It's just because they're tired of fighting. They're tired of fighting the fight. They're tired of it. So it's exhausting. But I, like my friend here, will not step back. I will not step back. I will not sit down. I will not be quiet at all. So that's, in my nutshell.
You still have some fight left in you then.
Oh, yeah. Even this old lady still got some fight in her. Yeah.
She shows up.
Well, I don't see Bailey staying home anytime soon and stepping back from things.
Actually this year I'm really trying to put some real self-care into myself. But to answer your question, we're the LGBTQ community locally. We're holding a lot of harm, but we're also holding a lot of healing. And I'd say the most pressing issue right now and today is July 17th, and our federal administration has cut option 3 from the LGBTQ crisis line. So I think immediately, how are our youth, not only in Napa, but across the country, going to access affirming care and support that they need? And I do worry about the folks and the queer youth in this community because we are under-resourced. We have one nonprofit, LGBTQ Connection, that their job, they're funded to serve 14 to 24 and 65 plus. That's what they're funded for. But there's a huge gap in that age range, and we're rural. Like, even though people think like, yeah, we're Napa, we're getting bigger, but we're still considered a rural community. And so, and our queer and trans youth right now are the most marginalized, and they're the most vulnerable. And especially if they have the intersection of being from holding another identity of race, of class, of even gender, that doesn't align and just makes them more marginalized. And they're already part of a historically marginalized community. Like, there are existing great tensions between law enforcement and the LGBTQ community. Like, our whole movement was born out of an uprising against police brutality.
Police brutality that happened here in Napa?
No, this is New York. So I'm talking about the origin. Yeah,
just to make sure.
No. Sorry, I know.
1975.
I know. I throw those words around, and folks get very sensitive, especially in a DA's office. But no, not talking about it. I mean, I can't speak. I don't have the lived experience of experiencing police brutality here in this community. I can't say that it has never happened, but I'm talking about the origins of our movement, the origins of the modern LGBTQ movement,
just
being born from that. Yeah. We don't, as far as I know, we don't have cops beating LGBTQ people in Napa.
No. And if they did, they'd be in a lot of trouble. So.
Yeah. There's also a safety issue. Is like, who can we as a community trust? Who can we really go to? And we're in an era now where people have taken, and I know it because I've been in y'all's organizations for the past 7 years, have taken like the LGBTQ best practices training. And there's been a lot of checking of boxes, and we've put our rainbows on our brochures. But really, what does it mean for a trans person of color to walk into one of our organizations right now and get help? How is that person going to be received? Because from where I'm coming from, I've known people to leave jobs after trainings because of the things that their colleagues have said, or things that, or the vibe and the tension that people feel. And people that are living on the margins, that are the most marginalized, and this is me kind of experienced this firsthand in my coming out as non-binary trans, that there's a sixth sense that you have. It's almost a vibe, a feeling that people put off. And I think a lot of folks aren't really aware that they do it. And so my fear is that somebody in this community really is going to need help, and they're going to show up because there's a rainbow on a brochure or whatever, and the person at the intake counter or the person who's the social worker that's working with them really doesn't affirm and really doesn't know how to hold a person who has been most marginalized, who is coming in with a lot of trauma, because that work that we haven't done on ourselves is going to hurt the people that we are serving. And that's what I think a lot of people in this moment, leaders of organizations, leaders in the community, leaders that are running our country, need to reckon with that, and a real honest reflection of like, how is my organization truly affirming to this community, and have the guts to be honest and be like, wow, we're really falling short. There's things that we could be doing.
What could be changed? What could be better, do you think?
Well, I think right now in this moment, it's showing up. It's speaking up, and it's investing in the community. So showing up by way of showing up in the services that you provide, show up for our community, take the trainings, but it's less about an LGBTQ person coming in and educating you on stuff, and it's more about taking what we've already done, because I know that this community has been absolutely saturated with LGBTQ education, implementing that and making it actually a thing, and having the really tough conversations with your staff, with your crew, with people, so that there is a culture change, that we are going to treat people with equity, whether or not they are coming in with as LGBTQ, whether or not they're coming in as Black. Like, I like to lead with care. And CARE is an acronym for me. It means connect, affirm, respond, and empower. Connecting. The first, well, it's all about relationship building. The first part of connecting. Yeah. How do you connecting with somebody as a person coming in serving services? That first part of connecting is what are our relationships like with LGBTQ people externally in our friends and family, but internally, what are my beliefs about the community? Yeah. What are the things that I've been told? What is the stuff I've seen on social media about trans people right now that is like making me all weird when a trans person walks through my door? Second to that is affirm. Making sure that we're understanding the terms and definitions, and we are affirming people when they come through that door, that people feel like they belong, that their pronouns are going to be respected, that we're going to put that in their records, and we're going to actually document that data so that it can be sent off somewhere else, and we can actually get money allocated to this community instead of us being forgotten. Next to that is respond. How are we responding to the issues? How are we responding to somebody that is coming through our door? How are we making referrals and making people resourced? And then the last part is empower. How are we empowering ourselves to be advocates and allies to the LGBTQ community? And how are we ourselves getting out of the way so that we can create opportunities for LGBTQ people to express their own autonomy and to lead their lives how they want? And we do the part to empower the community to create culture change so that people feel like they belong. And we come to a point where the slurs and the teacher that won't use the pronouns and this thing happening, that becomes something that won't exist because we're all kind of aware that like that's not cool and we don't want that in this community. We don't want that in the classroom. We don't want that in our agency. And that's what we're asking for.
And
people
that's
to
the
care.
goal. I mean, for people to care and, as you said, treat people with equity. My last question, and thank you guys both for being here, is for those who want to help but don't know where to start. I think you kind of covered this, but what's the most meaningful thing that they can do today to help the community?
No, you start first.
Well, my bent is more towards politics. So I would say get involved in local politics. Local politics is a place where a human being can actually make a difference. That's absolutely true. Work to get people elected in our community who will work on behalf of us. That is probably the single most important thing I think that especially a young person can do. There's all kinds of old people doing that. Yeah. But
it's something you spent your life doing.
I have spent my life doing it, and I continue to do it. It's very important to me, and it's important to know where you can and where you cannot make a difference, because then your frustration level comes way down. And it's much easier to reflect on all that other stuff that's going on peripherally around us, right? In the country, in the world, and everywhere else. But so staying local, and electing the right people to public offices is very important.
That will not be me. Just saying it right
Correct.
now. Will not be me. I am not going
political,
to. I am
no
not going to
politics.
become an elected official.
Yeah. You don't need to become one. Just get involved in electing the right one.
Yeah, I'll be involved in it, but that is not going to be me.
So what's something somebody can do today?
Today, speak up. Show up. It's like I said before. Show up, speak up, invest, and actually make space for joy. Because I know we've talked about a lot of really depressing, sad things with statistics and, 61% of all fatal crimes are Black trans women and all that stuff. Like, those are realities, and there's a lot of joy to be had. And so, for my siblings, for everybody that's LGBTQ, find that joy, whether or not it's with other people, it's with yourself. It's just try to find it and hold that. And for people like allies and those that really want to be involved, know that we need you as allies to start showing up and to speak out. because when we do it, when a person of color or is speaking out, that can lead to violence on that person. But if it is an ally who has a position of authority and using a platform like this one, thank you very much for letting us come here. Yeah. It's the speaking up. It's showing up online. Every single time there is something posted about LGBTQ people in the Napa Register on Facebook, you read the comments, and actually like Napa Gay Mafia, that was actually something that was thrown around a lot that I've actually turned into a t-shirt. Yeah. But like letting others know that like that behavior, the way that we talk about people, the way that we understand people in a negative light, it's not appropriate for the classroom, for the space, and being a person who wants to change. And that takes courage, and it takes bravery, and it takes stepping out of this comfort zone that I think a lot of people, and I'll say it, a lot of people with privilege, we sit in that space where like, I guess I don't really need to do that. Or it's the executive director that's like, well, we put the rainbow on our brochure, so that should be enough. It's like, it is not enough right now. Like, I don't know where's the safe place to go. And so it takes a lot of you all showing up and showing us that you care for us. If you have the means to support an LGBTQ organization, please throw your dollars to LGBTQ Connection. They almost had all their funding pulled away by the cuts that are coming down through the federal government. That did not happen though, so everything's fine. We're totally funded. But we could use the resources. So throw money at organizations. I've had a lot of people in this last Pride. It was really beautiful to see so many people want to be volunteers. And we have the Queer Leaders Coalition email address. And during Pride, I wasn't able to be active on it, but I literally went on there yesterday, and there were 15 private emails that I got from people that I'd never met before that were like, I want to be involved. I want to support this. And that's how we create change. That's quite a bit. Yeah. And for the Queer Leaders Coalition, it's for creating opportunities for people to find themselves in community through advocacy, through volunteerism, through all that stuff. I think that's it. Just really show up and speak up, and be aware of the things that come out of our mouths, because I think a lot of people don't think that they know an LGBTQ person. They don't think that they know a non-binary or a transgender person, but really the reason why they might not know that is because of the things that come out of people's mouth that is showing us that you are not a safe person. That for me to reveal myself to you means that I'm going to be dejected or rejected or misgendered or made fun of. So really being aware of how we're showing up and do better. Everybody, I think, in this community could be doing a lot better.
And that's some great advice. And now, is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel would be important for our listeners to know?
I want to call you. Brought in some stuff to share. You want to talk about that?
Well, I did. I thought it would just be kind of fun and interesting to see how this is a article from the Napa Register, February 13th, 2000.
Show it up.
In 2000, and the just as an example of how long this has been going on. This how we've had to stand up and fight for just being, equalized in very small ways. And this was an article about Proposition 22, which, was legislation in California that marriage is only between a man and a woman. And it's fun to watch the evolution. It's been fun. It's been a fight. Fighting can be fun. Fighting doesn't have to be, Guns N' Roses. It's fun because, I don't know, I have fun doing it. I really enjoy it. I enjoy trying to change hearts and minds.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
That's
really neat to see.
Thank
you both for joining us. And if you want to know more, if you want more podcasts, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media, Twitter, now X, of course, Facebook, and Instagram. And we will catch you next time on the Sidebar Podcast.